Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Using my over 20 plus years of coaching experience, I'd like to give you some insight into what's actually going on, instead of what some idiot commentators or some terrible YouTubers like to say. So right now we're doing Manchester United against Bournemouth, and this first goal here is a combination of, it's actually just two errors. Everything else after that you can't really take into account. Oh, by the way, there's so much to talk about in this game, and the VAR decisions and why it was completely and utterly wrong. And there's so much to talk about in this game. But right now we're looking at United trying to defend, and goodness knows why they got Luke Shaw as a left back. As a left centre back when you've got other centre backs on the bench that can do a better job. And this is the problem you have right now. You've got Bruno Fernandes, and he plays this little ball in to McTominay here in the midfield, who's completely and utterly free. Look, there's no one anywhere near him. He's got loads of time and space. So this quality of pass should be good. It has to be, right? Because he needs to turn and he needs to go away with it. The problem is the quality of the pass is awful. Let's watch this as it comes in. Look, it's in front of him now. He's having to run to it. So it's not to him. It's not to his feet. So the problem when it's not to you and you're in that pocket of space there, that space is now irrelevant. Okay, because now you have to run off it. So you're comfortable stood there in the space, but now I'm running. I'm not in the space anymore. Now I can be closed down, and somebody else has already read it. He's already got a head start. He can already see the pass. Why? Because it's a bad pass. It's a lofted chip. So the problem when you do a lofted chip, or you do one of those lofted balls, is it takes a long time for the ball to come down. That's the difference when we talk about like a driven cross or a lofted cross. Lofted crosses are easy for the goalkeeper to come out and catch. A driven cross isn't. It's a similar situation here. This lofted ball puts him in all sorts of problems. Okay? And he's made to look like a bad guy, but it's not. It's the pass. Look, he still even can't get there. After his run, he still can't get there. He's running and the ball is still 4 or 5 yards away from him. That's how bad the pass is. So it's completely and utterly lacklusted by Fernandes here. And it's his fault. This whole interaction now is his fault. He's put his teammate in a terrible position. And everyone's going to say, oh, he should have been better. Yeah, but he's been given a hospital ball in the midfield when there's three. Like, how is he supposed to do better? He can be stronger, yeah, maybe, but it still doesn't stop the fact he can't get close enough to challenge for the ball. And I'm not a McTominay fan. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just calling it as I see it. That player cannot win that ball because he doesn't have an opportunity to. Then, all of a sudden, they start breaking. Look at that bounce. Everyone is on their heels because, of course, this guy's got all the momentum running into the space. Fernandes has got no idea that his pass could be read like that because he wasn't really watching down the field in the first couple of minutes of the game. Completely lacklusted. This guy doesn't know what to do because he's not a centre-back. Doesn't know what to do. So all of a sudden now the ball starts breaking, and let's freeze it here. Completely and utterly unmarked. Well, of course he should be, because not only about 0.2 of a second ago, United had the ball. So they weren't really worried about their striker, which I completely, by the way, disagree with. When I set up teams, you're always expected to be losing it. What are you doing in the next 2-3 seconds? The second you lose that ball. Very, very important. I've got to pause it for a little bit here as well and let it go because I'm still in YouTube jail from copyright strikes. So as we move this forward, Bosch, now you can see, look, he is basically split between these two central defenders here, and you can't give them a hard time because they've got no time to react. If there was another couple of seconds, yeah, but there's no time for them to react. And what Don Solanke's done, I think he's a quality striker. He's never going to be like a top 4 quality striker in that sort of range, but he's a good mid-table striker. He's going to get a good 15 goals a season. On a great season, he might get you 20 goals, but he is done exactly right by standing in between the two defenders and hoping that something happens, and it does. And he has a quality little finish into the corner. Really, really cultured finish. That's a very good touch there, and it puts Bournemouth 1-0 up. Let's get into the next goal. Okay, we're going to move this one with little stop-starts here because there's a lot to show you. You can see Bournemouth are defending quite well, and they're basically picking their moments when they break. They've just won the ball here and to go on. Remember, Amrabat here is the guy that they're using as a holding midfielder. Not Fernandes, not this other guy. I think it's McTominay. So all of a sudden, you've got this whole situation where you're inverted. Okay, you've got an inverted triangle instead of having McTominay up here and Fernandes down here and Amrabat there. So all of a sudden, when you look at it, your defensive midfielder is way too far out of shape. So now I moved on a couple of frames. Now you can see why that's so important. When this guy gets the ball, he can just turn and run straight at the back too, because his defensive midfielder, United's defensive midfielder, is just gone on walkabout, and he's up there. And these two midfielders, McTominay and Fernandes, are not good enough. They're not really good midfielders. I don't care what anyone says about Bruno Fernandes. He's not very good. Can he pass the ball? Yes. Can he score? Yes. Would I have him in midfield? No, because he doesn't do things like this. And what I mean by this is, as soon as he sees Amrabat moving or going out there, he is not smart enough to come in and do that. That's why he's not a good enough midfielder. Like, I wouldn't have him in this situation. Would I put him up wide on the flank somewhere? Yeah, maybe. Probably have him there, but I wouldn't have him in midfield, because when the defensive midfielder gets caught out like this, one of these two clowns has to drop in and fill the gap. They don't even realise it. Look, they could easily have done that, but they don't. They don't see it. They don't understand the danger. And it all comes from when they're passing the ball, because they're so lacklustre with the ball and it gets intercepted, trying to pass it into Amrabat. And they should have realised, wait, we can't pass it into him because he's my defensive midfielder. If he doesn't win the ball here on this pass, well, we need to recycle the ball and try to get our shape a little bit more cohesive. And they don't understand that. So let's move this on just a little bit, because I want to show you some other things. Right, boom, right now. He doesn't work hard enough. This guy doesn't work hard enough. But more importantly, you can see Luke Shaw doesn't know what he's doing. He shouldn't be in the centre-back. Shouldn't be there. He should be dropping, trying to cover here, because he's running at that guy. He doesn't understand that. So what he's doing by coming over there is opening up this space already. Okay? He's already opening it up. He's starting to make this is the area that's going to be attacked, because he's cutting in. He doesn't understand he needs to be flat with that guy, and this guy needs to come back. And if he stays flat, he shuts the space down on the back post. He doesn't get that. He's coming over towards Harry Maguire. Watch. Do you see where he is now? There's no need for him to be there. The ball's already been pushed wide. Anything that he can do to push the ball wide, Harry Maguire can already do anyway. He needs to be back here, backing up Maguire. If he beats Maguire, then Luke Shaw can deal with the problem. He's come over here and taken himself completely and utterly out of the game. And it's going to get more important in a minute. It's the same thing I think a United player did the other day. And I know someone, a couple of players did it. If you go back and look at my last videos, a Liverpool defender did it, where because he's made the wrong run initially, he's not back to where he is, so his body shape is completely wrong for when the header happens and then the goal happens. This is causing the goal here. What Luke Shaw is doing here is making sure that he cannot defend the header properly, and he doesn't understand it because he's a terrible footballer. Right, as we move forward here, right, he should have been right now here, but I'll give him credit because he's done something there which most Premier League players don't do. He turned and he had a look. But he needs to be about here. That's where he needs to be. So when this cross comes in, he's set and he can deliver. You know, he can either deal with it, he can do something with it. But he's not in the right situation. He's basically where Harry Maguire is. He's doing absolutely nothing. As he starts to track, now he starts to run to where he needs to be, but he's still not there. And look at his body shape. This is the important part. Because he's run like this, he's run like a dog when you take him for, you know, if you ever take your dog for a walk, your dog runs backwards and forwards down the road like that, instead of just walking straight to the point you need to be at. Well, that's exactly what he's doing here, right? So because he's run over, let's just get this little drawy tool. Come on, drawy tool, work your magic. So because he's run this way to run back that way, instead of just running that way, he would have already been here. His body would have been set. Instead of his shoulders being this way and his head facing that way, he would have had his shoulders facing this way and his head facing that way. Massive, massive difference. So when this cross comes in, all of a sudden, Bosch, he can't deal with it because he's not back far enough, and this guy's got a free run on him, and he just batters him, dosh, because he's not where he needs to be. And also, he really shouldn't be playing centre-back. And you can blame the left-back for not tracking him as well. Yeah, 100%, but I'm not looking at him. I'm looking at the centre-back because he's the one here making the challenge. And he's the one that made the stupid run out and then the stupid run back in. On him, yeah, left-back should have done better as well. But, dude, I could be breaking this down for 4 months if I start breaking that down as well. So let's get on to the next goal. Okay, so this is the third goal for Bournemouth. As the corner's coming in, I kind of like this camera angle because it's the only real thing you need to know. If you watch it from the other angle, you'll kind of miss it. The fact that, look, this guy's completely unmarked. He's in the box. He's completely and utterly unmarked. And anyone who watches my channel knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. Players on the post. When you're bad defensively from corners and set pieces, you have players on the post. And it is not to protect the post. It's so you can challenge, you can come out and challenge. Okay, you can come out and challenge the ball because there's nothing behind you, but everything is in front of you and you can clear the ball. However, in this situation here, in this scenario, when if you did have a player on the post, right, you would actually be able to save the goal. But we don't have that here. Let's move this forward so you can see what I'm talking about. Dush, free header. He's jumping up on his own. Harry Maguire's looking around, going, wait a minute, whose player was that? You can see other players here, completely free. Amrabat's got one. Maguire's stuck between two players. What are we doing? This guy, is he marking the post or not? Because he's not. Now he's stepping back in. It's all way too late. Do you see what I'm... And this guy's completely and utterly had a free header. The other thing I like is that they've framed the D up here with two attacking players, which I've been talking about for years and years. But there we go. Nice easy goal for them. Bosch into the bottom corner. Now let's get on to the controversial goal, that the VAR handball. That it's not a handball. It's a penalty. Let's go back and look at that. Okay, this is how bad VAR is. And if you try to tell me it's not corrupt, I will never listen to you, because you're completely wrong. You're looking at this decision here. Right, the goalkeeper, first off, made the first mistake. He has gone with his legs, not his hands. If he's gone with his hands, he saves this and there's no issue. He's not strong enough, and he's not a good enough goalkeeper. He's not brave enough to go in face and hands first and win that football, which he should have done. Now here's the problem. The guy's beating the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper's taking him out. Watch. He trips over the goalkeeper. He's fouled him. So if this is a handball, that's a penalty first. The first issue, he's fouled him. The reason his arms are in the air and he's flailing and his legs are everywhere is because he's been fouled by the goalkeeper. You can't blame the striker for doing that. And what he's actually done, he's been honest and tried to stay on his feet and score a goal. But because he's been honest and tried to stay on his feet and score a goal, they've gone, oh no, it's not. It's let's cheat and say it's a handball. No, it's a penalty. If he falls over, it's a penalty. And that keeper's got a good chance of being sent off. But because the striker's honest, stays on his feet and scores the goal, they go, oh, it's a handball. That is so dodgy. I mean, you've got to reward him for staying on his feet. It's a penalty. The keeper's taking him out. None of that's talked about. They just wash over it and go, oh, yeah, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. The reason his hands are flailing is because he's fouled him. That is so poor. But welcome to the Premier League. I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.